All right, so where were we before the choir? We were thinking about the expansiveness of the Celtic way of being and contrasting it with what we normally experience in church and society. In our context, we share this tendency to want to contain and to control. We like written rules, we like those bylaws. And you know what? When it comes to joining a church, and I'm speaking for myself here, if I'm going to join a church, I want to see in writing what are the creeds, what are the beliefs, and then more than likely, it's going to come back at me. The church I join is going to want me to subscribe to those written beliefs and those preconceived creeds. That's not nearly as fluid and flexible as the Celtic way of being, isn't it? Is it? Imagine with me the Celtic spiritual community, which focuses on two, maybe three things: noticing the sacredness of everything, deep listening, and the third component, which we haven't talked about yet. I'm just now lifting up the third component is spiritual companioning, being with someone on the journey. It's an essential element for those who want a life that is whole and holy. So let's move back, spend a little bit more time with the Celtic tribes. As I mentioned, there is historical evidence that the Celts were alive and well during the First or the Old Testament period, and they were still active in the days of Jesus. So this would bring us up roughly to the year 30. This was the era of the Roman Empire, an empire that was determined to be the most powerful. And at the same time, there were a lot of Greek influences. In fact, it was actually the Greeks who referred to the tribal folks as the Celts. The Romans referred to them as the Gauls. Both were intended to reference the area or the place where the tribal people were dwelling. And the area spanned from the east, Galatia in ancient Turkey, and then Galicia in Spain, all the way to Gaul in France. So the Celts and the Gauls are one. Later, the Celts made their way north to Scotland, Ireland, Great Britain, which is where they're found today. Celtic architecture is and was inspired by nature, which means that there's lots of round and mounds and arches, curves. And Celtic art reflects nature as well. Written history reveals that the Roman historians and Roman cultural critics were perplexed and puzzled and probably questioning and critiquing the Celtic people because they worshiped outdoors. They weren't worshiping in a temple. So now we're starting to notice some tension. People are starting to notice what other people are doing, what and how they are doing it. I wonder if this points to the fact that their eye is no longer on the sacred. Their eyes are now on each other. I don't know that. I'm just wondering.